Man, I really want to start making money with social media, but I just don't know how to get started.
Don't worry, John. I'm gonna tell you everything you need to know to make your first $100 on social media.
So if you've been seeing all these people start to make money on social media and you want to get started yourself, but you don't know how, don't worry, because we've got you.
For context, John and I have helped over 60,000 creators grow their following and also help create literal millionaires. So we've been able to see the patterns of what works and what doesn't.
And so today we're going to walk you through the playbook that we've seen all of our top creators use to go from just having 0 followers and no idea what kind of content they want to make, all the way to building a following and making money for themselves. Specifically, we're going to go over 5 steps today, with step number 1 being figuring out what kind of content you should even be making in the first place that will resonate with some sort of audience out there. And then we'll show you how to actually make and create that content in a way that will actually perform well and go viral. Which then leads us to step number 3, which is how to actually grow and maintain a following. And so in this section, we'll walk you through a specific strategy both Lo and I have used to grow our own personal followings to over 100,000. Because once you have a following, you can then start to think about how exactly are you going to monetize your social media. And so we'll walk you through the best and easiest way that we've seen creators make money, aka by using digital products. And so if you don't know what that is, don't stress. We'll walk you through exactly what those are and also how to create them yourself. And then lastly, we will teach you how to launch and market that digital product so that you can actually find success.
So let's get started. So step number 1, figuring out what kind of content to make, aka picking a niche. So when you're picking a niche and you're figuring out what kind of content you want to make, you really want to think of it as like a Venn diagram. You want to find the intersection of what you are passionate about and also what you are an expert in. And this is really important because if you are an expert in, let's say, your day job, which is accounting, but you aren't passionate about it, you wouldn't want to make content about it. So find something that you both love talking about and also have a lot of knowledge in.
And so when I was first approaching building my own personal account, I framed it with a specific question, which was, what is the value that I could give to this world? And also, what was I just genuinely passionate about? And so for me, that Venn diagram was, on one end, I was a total business nerd. And then on the other side of my passions, my own personal story was basically cold calling my way into a job on Wall Street. So I'm really passionate about helping other people also bridge those kinds of gaps. And so I took both my interest and expertise in business and also my passion for helping other people get their first dream job and just started making a ton of content out there of how you can actually land your first dream job without any connections.
And once you do have an idea of what you do want to post about, it's a really normal feeling to think, oh, well, other people talk about this already. Why would I also talk about this when other people are doing this? And the way that we combat this is a quote that we refer to often, which is escape competition through authenticity. And that actually reminds me of a creator that I absolutely love, the Endo Spectrum, who just started posting content about 3 months ago, even though the health and wellness space is already pretty saturated, but she was able to separate herself because she started talking about her own specific issues, which is endometriosis. So she started posting about this anti-inflammatory diet that specifically helps her problem and her needs and has been documenting her journey, which is why she's able to grow over 300,000 followers in just 3 months.
And crush it and make 6 figures really easily too.
Yep, forgot to mention that part.
Yeah. And so the advice that I actually like to follow in my own content of figuring out what actually I should post is just to ask myself, what kind of content would my younger self want to see or hear that they'd find valuable? And also, don't worry about being too niche. In fact, I'd actually argue that's the best thing to do when you're first starting out, because being super niche actually provides you an entry wedge to cut through all the noise in the market. And then over time, as you grow your audience, you can start to broaden what you talk about and cover.
And that takes us to step number 2, which is how to actually create good content.
And there's actually just one mantra you need to keep in your head as you think about making good content that will guarantee your success, which is just give, give, give. Where the best creators that we work with all recognize that in this super short attention span world, in order to stop the scroll, you have to deliver your audience or your viewers some sort of value. And so you always want to approach all of the content you make through the lens of how am I giving value to the person on the other side of the camera? So that can be something like teaching someone something, so giving them education or knowledge in some way. Or it can just be about helping them laugh or making their day better, or just helping them feel seen and feeling a sense of community.
And I know it can be overwhelming as a new creator thinking about how you can take all these new ideas and actually put it into content, but I actually use this thing called the rule of 3, and it really allows you to come up with less ideas, but output even more content. So I call it the rule of 3 because for every idea that you come up with, whether that's an educational idea, inspirational, or entertaining, you want to turn that into 3 pieces of content, which is a long form, short form, and trend video. So for a long form video, that ranges anywhere from 20 to 90 seconds on Instagram, and that can be a talking head video where you're talking to the camera. You can make it a little entertaining with a green screen behind you. It can be a vlog with a voiceover, or it can even be a skit. And in this type of video, you wanna have as much detail as possible when you're speaking to the audience, and your caption will act more as like a hook for them to want to watch the video. And for the next type of video, short form, it's gonna range anywhere from 8 to 30 seconds long. And this video is pretty simple to make because all you have to do is film B-roll footage, which is pretty much you doing anything. It can be you typing on your laptop, it can be you on the phone, it can be you sipping a cup of coffee, and all you have to do is just put text over that video that gives your audience value. So for this, you want to take an abbreviated version of the long video and really put the main points that you want to give to your audience in the actual text on screen, and then in the caption you can give even more details. And then for the third type of video, a trend video, it's similar to short form in the length. It can be anywhere from like 5 to 30 seconds long, but the difference is this one you're actually using a trending lip sync audio. So this one is a little bit more humorous. You're able to show your personality, and you want to pair the value that you want to give with the sound. And so I found this sound one day, and from that I made this video. So see how I took the sound and I just made it my own, and then in the caption you can see that is where I put all of the value that I want to give to my audience.
And these are all just potential ideas you can take inspiration from, but at the end of the day, you just want to mix and match what feels best to you and aligns with you as a creator.
And the reason I recommend making 3 types of videos for one topic is because your audience is not going to see all of your content, and also your audience all consumes content differently. So some people love when people are talking to the camera and they are engaged with that. Some people are on Instagram with no sound on, so they will skip past that immediately, so they will actually read a caption instead. So creating different types of content is what's going to allow the most reach for your content.
Some people like dancing.
And also just tips, if you have never made content before, always make sure to have good lighting because that does have an impact on if people are going to watch your video or not. And for trending audios, this is a great tip on Instagram. It's actually really easy because there are upward arrows on sounds if they are trending or not. So it's really easy to find if a sound is trending. Also pro tip, if you click onto that sound and there are over like 20,000 uses on that sound, I probably wouldn't use it because it might be at the end of that trending sound. So if you see an upward arrow and it's less than 20,000, that's a great trending sound to use. And also the most crucial part of your content is the hook itself, which is the first 1 to 2 seconds of your video to make sure that you capture the attention of your viewer. So if you don't know how to start your video off yet, in the caption you put a bunch of hooks that you can use.
And if you're feeling like, oh, like where am I gonna find the time to make all this content? Don't worry, we actually just recorded a video where I followed Lo around, and we actually recorded her filming over 30 pieces of content in 1 hour. We'll put the video right over Lo's face. And so you can watch that if you do want our playbook on how to film a ton of content in a little amount of time.
And now that you know how to make good content, that takes us to step number 3, which is how to grow and maintain your following and continue to make even better content. So I've been a content creator for years, but I actually never used a strategy to help me grow until just a little over a year ago.
And since then, you've grown like crazy.
Crazy! So specifically for the Stan account, which is a brand account, I started using this content strategy, and it took me from 10,000 to now 80,000 followers in just a little over a year. And so what I did to grow my following using this strategy was on every single Sunday, I would look at the previous week's content. I would wait a week so the content can actually perform. So the previous week's content, and I would take the top 5 performing posts and then also the bottom 3 performing posts. And I would put it in a document and I would link out to all of those videos. And then to make it easier on myself, I would then write out the type of video. So whether it's talking head, B-roll, or trend. And then I would also put the hook of the video. And then I would also put what the topic of the video is about. So then week over week, I have this document where I have all of my weekly stats of all of my top performing videos and all of my bottom performing videos. So then when I'm going to make new content, I don't have to pull just all these random ideas and just hope that I come up with new things to talk about. Instead, I look back at my previous content, and what I'll do is if I know that there's a topic that can perform well but didn't perform well, I will pair it with a hook that I know performs well. And then over time, you'll be able to see what topics consistently perform well and what your audience wants to see, and then also the topics that maybe don't perform well, so then you'll stop talking about it. So it just makes your life as a content creator so much easier.
And so it's basically just pattern recognition, where you're going to put some stuff out in the world, which is scary to do your first few times, but once you get past that, you crush it, and then you just observe what is done well, and you just iterate around that. And one of my favorite examples of someone who is seen as an overnight success for some reason, but has been consistently iterating and really improving their content over years of time, is actually Alex Earl, where if we actually go to her profile and scroll years back, so let's scroll all the way back through her content, you'll actually see with her videos, she's doing all sorts of stuff, but what really made Alex hit that she started learning over time was her Get Ready With Me videos, where there was something about this format and what she shared with her audience that clearly started really hitting. And so you actually can see in the thumbnails of her profile how she realizes that and then doubles down on that, and then you can see how the view counter on her videos just skyrockets.
So it's her consistency and then waiting to see what worked, which is what led to her success.
All right, so with that consistency of now learning how to make good content and then posting about it and iterating, I promise you, if you just commit to that action for 3 months or so, you should start to build a meaningful following. And so now with an audience, you can start asking the question, how do I start making money? And there are actually a ton of different ways you can make money with an audience online, whether it's doing brand deals or selling t-shirts or what have you. But the thing that we've found actually be the most consistent income stream for any creator out there who's building their own brand and really investing in themselves is actually thinking about digital products. So, Lo, what is a digital product?
So a digital product is anything that you can sell to your audience that includes like a template, a guide, webinars, courses, one-on-one coaching. It really is anything that you can fulfill online.
And the reason why so many people find success with digital products is because there's no fulfillment cost to actually creating a course and then selling it to more people. Unlike even if you were to create your own merch, you'd have to physically ship that and deal with the returns and all the shipping costs and the fulfillment costs. Whereas for digital products, you create it once and then you can sell it multiple times. So now we need to figure out what is the best digital product for you. And I actually think one of the best ways for us to help you brainstorm what product you might be able to sell is to actually walk through a bunch of examples from some of our most successful creators here at Stan. And Lo, you actually mentioned ebooks, which immediately made me think of one of our creators, Milkmaid Farm, where if I pull up her account, Milkmaid Farm, or Selena, has built an incredible business and following for herself, actually teaching people how to make sourdough bread at home. And so if you take a look at her content here that's really engaging, you'll notice it all has a call to action into her Stan store where she's selling a recipe book. And so if you click into her recipe book, you'll realize that it's just a really straightforward PDF that she made in Canva, where she just took all of her ideas and then put them on paper. And now she's built a 6-figure business out of just that.
Similarly, you can also make a guide, which is pretty much a short ebook. And one good example of this is Eddie Abu, who is a fitness coach, and he actually has an ultimate fat loss guide. So in this guide, he just talks through pretty much how to lose fat in a safe and efficient way.
And one thing Eddie does really, really well there is he shows a before and after of his own journey, actually losing fat and getting ripped at his age, which is super cool. But that actually makes me think about another form of digital products that people often sell that's about their journey, which is actually a template. And what I mean by template, actually, and I'm thinking about one of our most successful creators here at Stan. Her name is Motherboard Press. Her mission is to help all of the busy moms out there find a little bit more peace and harmony in their lives. And she realized that this planner that she actually used in her day-to-day to keep herself sane with her family, she actually just realized, oh wait, I can just upload that same planner to my Stan store and start selling that. And she's built a really meaningful 5-figure income stream just off of that planner itself.
Which finally leads us to building a course. So a course is another great way, usually as a higher ticket item for a digital product. Higher ticket just means a little bit more expensive. And there is one course in particular where Hot High Priestess has created it, and she has now become a millionaire because of this course. So she sells a course on tarot, and it makes sense because in her content, she does a lot of manifestation, a lot of tarot reading. So she actually sells a course on how to teach other people how to do their own tarot readings.
And why I love Hot High Priestess as an example, as well as all of our other creators, is it really goes to show you that any random niche interest you have, you can truly, on the internet, monetize it. And so hopefully out of all those ideas, something in there resonated with you. And so now we need to figure out for you specifically, what should your digital product actually be about?
And the best way that our creators have figured that out is actually by serving their own audience. So it can be as simple as throwing up a story post, putting up a poll, asking your audience what they want to learn from you, and using that feedback to create your digital product.
And that actually tends to lead to a lot more success because your audience is buying into your product creation process with you. And you also have complete conviction that they're interested in it because they're the ones who gave you the idea in the first place of what you should actually sell. And so once you have your idea, now we should talk about how to actually create that product value in the quickest way possible.
Yeah, so if you want to create a guide or an ebook, we actually have our own AI that can scrape your social media. And since you've been posting all this different content about, what you're passionate about and what you are an expert in, it will be able to scrape your social media and create a guide or an ebook for you, which is so cool. So it'll give you all the text, it'll give you sections, the table of contents, everything you need. And then all you have to do is go and copy and paste that text into a Canva template. So you can actually brand it, make it your own, and add in any little icons you want and really just make it your own guide.
And it'll even have your voice in it.
Which is so sick. It's actually so cool.
That's pretty cool. And if you're going the template route, remember that's just as easy as brainstorming what is something in my life that I use for my own process and then productizing that. Where for me, actually, the first ever digital product I ever sold, because I was doing career coaching content of like, hey, how do you get your first dream job without any connections? I just literally went to my old Dropbox, found my junior year internship resume and uploaded it into my Stand store. Like literally just didn't change a single word, uploaded it into my Stand store and then sold that for $10 a pop. And these 3 products are what generally we call lower to mid ticket items. So generally we see price points for a lower ticket item somewhere around $9 to $19. And for a mid ticket item, let's say a longer ebook or a full guide or a full starter kit, something around $47, which then takes us to a high ticket item. Let's say something like a video course, where for a course, that's actually now just as straightforward as just recording a couple of videos of yourself, walking through the curriculum, and then uploading that into your Stand store that hosts it for you, and then just pressing publish. Oh, and actually one digital product or service we haven't even talked about that's actually the easiest to launch, you could literally launch it today, is actually just coaching calls, where you can actually just throw up a booking link on your Stand store that integrates directly with your calendar, where people can just pay to book time with you for coaching or just to spend time with you and get your advice one-on-one, and you can charge high ticket for that.
All right, now you have your digital product. So that takes us to the final step, which is actually launching your digital product and making money. So launching your digital product is all about building hype. So you want your audience to see what you're selling way before you're even launching it. So then when it actually comes out, they're gonna wanna buy it on the day you launch. So you're gonna wanna tease your product 2 weeks before you're even going to launch it. So when you're teasing it, you can post it on your story. You can actually show a picture or a screenshot of your product. You can say, this is what you've all been waiting for. I've created it, it's coming soon. Really just like being as excited as you can to make your audience excited for it as well. And now once you've created this buzz and your audience knows that something is coming, 1 week before you launch, you actually wanna have a big announcement. So post a reel about it, post a carousel post, post it to your story, actually tell your audience what it is that you are selling. And of course the date that it's coming out. So when you are making this announcement, you wanna talk about the problem that you're solving, not so much the features of what's in your digital product.
So for example, calling back to Eddie Abu, he's selling the transformation, the step A to B of I'm going to help you lose fat, as opposed to necessarily talking about the features of this is a guide with 17 different workouts to get your biceps to look like mine.
And then I always recommend the day before you launch, put a countdown on your story so that it builds even more hype. And then on the day of your launch, I always recommend for 24 to 48 hours, you offer a discount code to your audience because it creates a sense of urgency. They're gonna wanna buy it right away because it's at a discounted rate. And then once you start making sales, you can have it either in the confirmation email itself, or you can reach out directly to your customers and ask them for a review. And then once you get your review back, post a review to your story and say, hey, like, look at this person, look what they said, they are loving this product, here's where you can buy it as well. The key to having a successful launch is to really feel confident and so excited about what you're selling, because if you're not showcasing excitement, your audience isn't gonna be excited either. But I will say it is 100% okay if in your first launch or your first few launches, it's kind of a flop, because that happens to pretty much every single creator, and you're just gonna learn what works and what doesn't work, so in the future you can have a successful launch.
Just to keep it in perspective, if you're gonna succeed in this game of entrepreneurship and this really hard journey that's gonna test you, it's all about that resilience and persistence where like, hey, maybe the first time the launch doesn't go that well, it's actually not a huge deal. Okay, cool, I can just relaunch or just iterate until I find a product and create a product that people are just super excited about. So you now have the entire playbook you need to go from 0 followers and not even knowing what kind of content you should make to making your first $100 on social media. But to summarize for you, those steps are:
Step number 1, actually figuring out what kind of content to make, AKA picking your niche.
And then number 2, actually making good content people will want to watch.
And number 3, iterating on that content to grow your following.
And then number 4, taking that following and learning, oh, this is the product that I could offer to actually monetize my audience.
And number 5, taking that digital product and launching it to your audience to make your first sale.
So with all that being said, Lo and I and the rest of the Stand team are here to support you in the entire journey. Like, please do not, we'll put our handles right here. Please do not hesitate to reach out whatsoever. This is our favorite part about what we get to do, is to help you find success in your journey.
And in the meantime, the Stand team is going to be publishing a detailed video like this every single week to make sure you succeed as a creator, so make sure to subscribe.